Alright, so here is my review of the G-Code SOC Holster. Let's start with the ordering process. So I ordered this about a year ago. I was looking at it, I saw a lot of great reviews about it, just great things about G-Code in general, and I kind of drank the Kool-Aid and assumed their stuff must be awesome for what I was reading about it. But I wanted to just make sure this holster was going to be a good fit for what I was looking for, and I needed it for on-duty patrol use as a police officer. So I emailed G-Code and said, hey, I want to make sure that this has the amount of retention I'm looking for, things of that nature. Is it a good fit for that use? Waited, no response. Emailed them a few weeks later, waited, no response. Emailed them a few weeks later, waited, no response. And so went the cycle for about 3 months, never getting a response from them, and eventually I just said screw it and I ordered it. For what the holster cost, I was expecting something to be, that it would be pretty awesome. When you order it, the way I got it, it came with the RTI wheel, the belt attachment, and it comes with the regular cowling like this. One of the positives about this holster is the adjustable retentioning system, which this screw right here is adjustable retention. And I did toy around with this for a while before switching out to that one, and the retentioning system works pretty nice. I was pretty happy with it overall. Switching out from this to that takes about 5-10 minutes. Just back the screws out here, swap them out, put the screws back in. Simple process. What you'll notice, which I did not know until after I got the holster, is that there is no adjustable retentioning system built into this. And as it is, this holster has really no retention at all besides the hood. So one of the things I'm not really fond of is this. If the hood is open and I tip this upside down, gravity is enough to bring the gun out. I don't have to shake it, nothing. It just, you see it start to slide out. It would fall right out on its own, except I have this rubber grip here that is slowing it down. Otherwise it would just drop free when I turned it upside down. So you're left with just the hood. Now for people who are saying that, this thing's great, I've read reviews from Special Forces guys who say they've used it in multiple tours overseas and blah blah blah, or at least self-proclaimed Special Forces guys. I'm going to guess if they actually are who they say they are, and they are really happy with this holster, they were using this. I really am not fond of the way it works with this cowling. Now, one of the reasons is that wearing this on patrol as a police officer, I have concealable body armor, which sits right about here. And if I tip to the side, it presses on that, and now I'm left with just gravity keeping my gun in my holster. And that's never a good thing. Another thing I noticed about this right away was that everything, the guts of this hood system, is all plastic, and it's not particularly strong. What I mean by that is this. If I want to defeat this, I just grab it and I can rip it right open. If you compare this to some of the other hood systems, for like example Safariland, the internals here are metal. You can crank on that thing as hard as you want and it's not going to open. The only way it's going to open is if you actuate the hood the way it's meant to open it. Now on this one, you just press down and the hood pops open. It's a nice system, and one of the reasons I went to this from a Safariland holster was I was looking to shave, a quarter second or so off my draw times, and that did happen. This is faster, just pressing the button and drawing the gun. It does come out faster than, for example, on a Safariland where you have to push down, roll forward, grab, and then pull the gun out. It did save me about that quarter of a second I was looking for out of this system. I wasn't happy with the hood. The other thing I thought would fail, which didn't, was the RTI wheel. If after I got this, I thought if this thing breaks, it's going to be this RTI wheel that will break, and that hasn't happened. It's actually been pretty strong, and I do like being able to stick the gun in that, lock it in place, and then if I want to take the gun off, I just clip it out and I can set the gun off to the side. I can go in and out of a safe with it without exposing the trigger. It's just a nice feature to be able to do this. What did fail, obviously, is the belt loop, which the way it failed is actually this right here, which if you're on my Facebook page you saw pictures of this. I wanted to durability test this entire holster. I never got to do that because this broke just from getting in and out of the squad car. So from sitting down and standing up inside of a vehicle after 8-9 months, this broke. I broke the other side off on camera during a previous take just to show how easy it was to break the whole thing. And of course my camera crashed, so I lost that file, so you don't get to see that. But you could literally grab this and snap it right off. It was nothing. So how they did not know during the research and development process that this was junk, I don't know. I don't know how that could slip by, but it did. What I did find is that G-Code has much better customer service after you've purchased their stuff. So I emailed them, I got a response within a day. They're going to warranty it and replace this part. But they told me they no longer make this part, they've replaced it with something stronger. So I'm guessing I'm not the first person to have had this issue. The other issue I had with this was after I got it, it originally had 5 screws here, and one of them fell out a couple weeks after I got the holster. And I know it's good practice to always pull these things out and Loctite them, but I didn't do that, and for what the holster cost, I would have expected that it had come with some type of a thread sealer on there. A Safariland holster, for example, has thread sealer on the screws when you get it. It had a screw up here. That's not the one that fell out. The one that fell out was back here. I then moved the one from here to there because what I found was that sometimes I could not get this to open. It would just seize up on me and I couldn't press it down. And what I found was that this part of the release lever right here, you can see a shiny spot on it, was catching on that screw and not allowing me to open the hood. And that's a huge problem. So I'd come in to try to open it and I'd push and push and push and nothing would happen. And I'd have to shift my body around a bit, then it would kind of sneak past and I'd be able to get the gun out. Obviously that's not acceptable. So if you do run these two pieces together, which they're not unique for each other, that screw has to go, which leaves you with 4, which is all I have left now anyway because one fell out. So if you do get this, make sure you rip it apart, Loctite it. Another quality concern I have with this gun, or I'm sorry, with this holster, is that most of these screws, if you look at all of this, minus the ones holding the cowling in place, those 6 screws have a metal backing that the threads go into. Everything else on here, all these screws, are self-threading screws that are going into Kydex. I see that as a strength issue, especially if you have to back them out for some reason and put them back in, and now they're even weaker than they were before. Why they would not have a metal backing inside there built into the Kydex for those threads to go into, I don't know. Most of the other holsters like this, in less expensive holsters that I've used, all those screws have metal backings to hold them in place. The RTI wheel has them here, you'll see. I don't know why they didn't integrate something like that into these screws on this holster, but they didn't. So overall, I'm pretty disappointed with the holster. I'm probably going to continue using it, but only because I have hip problems, and this is one of the only holsters I've used so far that doesn't dig into my hip and aggravate my hip problems. It's, in my opinion, definitely not a good choice for law enforcement use. It's probably great for, recreational use, things like that. If you're running this cowling, more acceptable for, maybe if you're a civilian who wants to open carry or something, I don't know. But overall, not too impressed. I'll probably do some updates on the Facebook page once I get the new new backing here, get everything put together, and then we'll see how it all works out for me.